Xiaomi is back to what it does best, that is, flooding the market with a ton of options. So no matter what your budget is, there is a Redmi smartphone for you. Now we've seen a lot of companies adopt this strategy as well, and while this does create a confusing mess, it also means that there's a lot of choice. Now take for example the new Redmi Note 11S. Now this is a 4G only smartphone, which to begin with is a little odd considering the Redmi Note 11T that came before it did support 5G. In any case, the main attraction here is the main 108 megapixel camera, and we first saw this sensor used in the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max last year, only this time Xiaomi is offering the same sensor at a lower starting price. But with the Redmi Note 11 Pro series right around the corner, where does this phone really fit in? Hi, I'm Roy and you're watching Gadgets 360, and this is my review of the Redmi Note 11S. Let's start with the different configurations. The Redmi Note 11S is available in 3 variants starting at 16,499 rupees for 6GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. The next variant costs 17,499 rupees for the same amount of RAM but 128GB of storage. And finally, there's a third variant which costs 18,499 rupees, which is the one I have, and this has 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. The design of the Redmi Note 11S is a bit too bland for my liking. Now, the blue and polar white trims look a bit better in photos, but this black option is just plain boring if you ask me. The plastic frame and back panel are well built and the phone is quite comfortable to hold. It's not too heavy or thick either. The main camera sticks out further than the rest of the camera module, which makes the Note 11S unsteady if you're using it on a flat surface. Xiaomi has gone for a 6.43-inch AMOLED display with a pretty high peak brightness of a claimed 1000 nits. However, the rest of the specs are nothing to shout about. It has a 90Hz peak refresh rate, a basic 180Hz touch sampling rate, and Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for scratch protection. The Full HD Plus resolution does ensure sharp visuals and colors are generally punchy. However, I did notice that you have to manually enable the 90Hz refresh rate since it's set to 60Hz by default. The Redmi Note 11S supports 2 nano SIM cards and a micro SD card all in the same tray. Now, the dedicated storage expansion slot is handy since the phone has a maximum of just 128GB of built-in storage. The phone also has dual speakers, a Type-C port, an IR emitter, and a headphone jack. It even has an IP53 rating for dust and water resistance, which is not common in this price segment. Now, this phone is powered by the MediaTek Helio G96 SoC, which is decently powerful, but not the most power efficient since it's built on an older 12nm fabrication process. The Redmi Note 11S offers enough grunt to handle basic apps and games well. MIUI 13 on this phone is still based on Android 11, but it's smooth and functional. Certain apps such as Get apps can be spammy, and there are a ton of pre-installed ones too, however not all of them can be uninstalled. You get a capacitive fingerprint sensor in the power button, which worked well in my experience. Thanks to the AMOLED panel, you can take advantage of a sort of an always-on display feature. Now this could have been more useful, but it only stays active for around 10 seconds at a time, so it's not actually always on. Videos look good on the Redmi Note 11S's display, but the stereo sound isn't very balanced as the bottom speaker definitely sounds a lot clearer than the earpiece. Games ran well, but some of the heavy titles ran with restricted graphics options on this phone. For instance, Call of Duty Mobile doesn't even show the high graphics option, and you can't enable most of the advanced quality toggles either. The game ran well though, and the gameplay was smooth, it's just that it didn't look as good as it normally does. Now, Xiaomi says it's used a liquid cooling system to keep the phone running cool. However, after about 30 minutes of gameplay of Call of Duty Mobile, I did notice that the back as well as the frame of the phone did get quite warm. Now, speaking of warmth, if you don't want to miss any of our brand new hot videos, then don't forget to subscribe and also hit that bell icon so you're always notified. The Redmi Note 11S performed predictably in tests and in real-world usage given its specifications, but what about that 108 megapixel camera that Xiaomi is hyping? Well, this is based on the Samsung HM2 sensor, which captures 12 megapixel pixel bin photos by default. However, you can take photos at the native 108 megapixel resolution too. Now, under bright light, the main camera on the Redmi Note 11S managed good details, but colors in photos tended to look wildly exaggerated with the AI feature on or off. Now, the optional Pro Color mode tends to boost this vibrance even further, making photos look very artificial. Shooting at the full 108 megapixel resolution gives you much better detail, but more importantly, colors were better controlled and objects looked a lot more natural. The Redmi Note 11S had a bit of trouble with autofocus when shooting close-up subjects, and at times it took a couple of taps on the viewfinder to lock focus correctly. Close-ups can look good under controlled lighting, but under bright sunlight, colors went for a toss. The main sensor really struggled in low light. Shooting at the full 108 megapixel resolution is of not much help, as your only option is to use night mode. This takes a couple of seconds longer to capture a shot, but you do get slightly better details and exposure. Surprisingly, you can't really use night mode with the ultra-wide or the selfie cameras, which is a real shame. The 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera has a more restrained color profile when shooting during the day, which for once is a good thing. Low-light photos came out expectedly weak and blurry with poor color reproduction. The Redmi Note 11S has a standard 2 megapixel macro camera on the back and not the impressive tele-macro that we saw on the Note 10 Pro series, so the results are not as impressive. You also get a fourth 2 megapixel depth sensor. On the front, the 16 megapixel selfie camera captured decent photos during the day. However, I noticed quite a bit of over-sharpening when using portrait mode in the same scene. Selfies taken indoors were decent provided there was a good ambient lighting, but outdoors at night the quality was quite weak. Finally, coming to video recording, the Redmi Note 11S can shoot up to 1080p with stabilization. However, I found the quality was just strictly average even when shooting in broad daylight. In low light, the quality was quite poor and definitely not up to the mark for a phone in this price segment. Battery life thankfully is pretty good. You get a massive 5000 mAh battery which easily offers an entire day's worth of runtime even with heavy use. Now with lighter workloads, you can expect to go longer between charges. There's 33 watt fast charging, but this only works if you use the adapter and the cable that comes with the phone. Most of the other Type-C cables that I tried with this 33 watt adapter charge the phone at a much slower speed. The Redmi Note 11S feels like a bit of a stopgap solution till the Redmi Note 11 Pro series arrives, and I still feel last year's Redmi Note 10 Pro offers better value at the same price. The 108 megapixel camera can capture some good photos if you're shooting at the native resolution during the day, but otherwise it's strictly average, as are the rest of the sensors. The SoC isn't particularly powerful for a phone in this segment either, and the lack of 5G doesn't really help its case. I think it's best if you hold off for a while before making any kind of purchase decisions, as better options are sure to launch soon. So that's been it for my review of the Redmi Note 11S. Let me know what you think about this phone in the comments below. And as always, for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.